women don't possess the power and the control on when a man proposes or anything.
Right.
So in the sense of just saying, you know what?
Women can, though.
Well, if they propose to them?
That women can propose to a man.
No. So would you want her propose to you?
I would have, I just thought I was the big dog if she did that.
That would have never happened.
I just feel like this.
That would have, never.
I just saying, like, I feel like if it's true love and a woman, like, step up, I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with that.
So if your woman got her knee and proposed to you, you tell me you'd have been like, yes.
No, I wouldn't have said yes. I would have got down there with her.
This is the moment. Oh my God.
Let's be clear. I would have got down there with her, maybe stood her up and said yes. But like, I just feel like a woman can ask a man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, this is going to go viral. This is good. This is going to be a moment.
You know what? You're right. But let me say this. A woman can ask a man. That could be something real. And I believe that the man may not have asked yet or whatever reason, but I just feel like a woman can ask.
So you think that her asking would motivate him to say yes when
every second that escapes without you here with me keeps my heart anticipating till I finally see you.
When I made my vows, I told God that I was going to take care of this gift.
All my life I've been waiting for you. Girl, you know I've been praying for you. Been writing these love letters to you.
So I fight for that future in the present. You know what I'm saying?
That was good.
Congratulations to the ones who found love. For the hope and new beginnings from heaven above. I await my future wifey. I pray that it won't be too long. Too long. Every second that
Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I'm your host, Latera Sar Whitfield. Listen, are you still shacking up with us? If you're still shacking up with us, come on, y'all. Can we get a commitment? Hit that subscription button and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified about upcoming episodes. And well, while we're at it, can you do me a favor? Go ahead and hit that like button so that this episode can be recommended to others that may not be aware of the Dear Future Wifey podcast on YouTube. Listen, man, we've been deep diving, talking to couples that have been sharing their unique journey on love, and everybody has a unique story on how they got there, how they got to this thing called marriage. And so this episode is gonna be fun. I did a pre-interview with this couple and I was delighted to just chop it up with them. They're hilarious. They just operate in truth and transparency. So without further ado, welcome to Dear Future Wifey podcast. My homies, Atiya and Doug Parson. How y'all doing?
We're doing good. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So y'all in this thing now.
We in this
We in
thing.
here.
Hey.
Let me tell you something. Y'all publicists have been reaching out to me for at least about 6 months, trying to get y'all. Yeah, y'all got a good one because she just kept hitting me up.
Right.
Hey, and then that season it didn't work because I was in tough topics.
Right.
And so I was like, this is not the season. If I talk to y'all, I want to talk to y'all about why we're all in this good feeling about love and making love work.
Right.
And so let me ask you this. If this was a Lifetime movie and a Lifetime decided to write a movie about, produce a movie about y'all love story,
Right.
what would you call it? What would be the name of that movie?
I would say, I don't know.
I would probably say transparency.
Transparency.
Yeah.
So you feel like y'all operate in full transparency? Y'all have always been like that?
Not always.
That's
always.
That's the theme song now, though. Transparency, actually, the literal song. So yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't always operate in transparency, but because it's so heavy on our list and at the top of our list, that's what I feel like the movie would be called now.
Right.
So let me just go ahead and rewind. How did y'all meet?
Okay, so we met I'm from the Midwest originally, from Indianapolis, Indiana. So we rollers, meaning skaters. So me and a friend of mine.
Y'all be skating?
Rolling out.
See, Rihanna like to skate. Look at her. Rihanna like to skate. She might end up pull out some skates. Y'all gonna roll around the studio.
You got the floors to do it.
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I can still just remember her rolling around the skating rink. Back then, Guess was very prevalent. She had on her little Guess outfit and stuff like that. And a friend of mine.
The little denim one. She had the little denim one on.
Yeah,
it might
it
have been
was-
pink.
it was,
Pink denim.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
short. So then one of my buddies was looking at her. Oh, man, look at her. She's beautiful. I'm going to holler at her. So she rolled out, 20, 30 minutes, and I was like, you going to talk to her or what you going to do?
Hold on, let me find out how old were y'all around this time?
I had to be like
20, 21.
Nah, maybe. This
Yeah.
is when I first,
Yeah,
maybe
so
20-ish.
that's 20-ish.
Okay.
Right, so he played himself. Sorry, my brother. But hey,
He said, I'm finna roll up on her.
yeah. So I reached. I gave her my number. She never called, but that's where we
I threw it
initially
away.
met.
You threw it away that day?
Yeah.
Right
Live
then.
the transparency, remember? I threw it away.
Before you left the skating rink, you threw it away?
Yes. Before I got to the car, I was like, that'll be a no.
Yeah. And I just knew she was gonna call me, but she didn't.
And so during that time, what made you throw it away? What did you see on him during that time?
I could tell in Indianapolis, there's like either you're a worker or you're a hustler. At least when I was growing up. So
Right.
I could tell he was a hustler. And along with that comes with a whole lot of extra women, miscellaneous, and I was not
You said
trying
miscellaneous women?
Miscellaneous.
That's what we're gonna call them?
We're gonna call them
Side chicks
miscellaneous.
gonna be called miscellaneous.
That's right. So I was like, you know what? I'm not even trying to go there, So I threw his number away. But God has a way of working things out because
Right.
probably a month later,
Right.
I was in college at the time. So I had 3 jobs.
Right.
I'm at one of the jobs, my car wouldn't start. And so I had like the guy out there trying to start my car with the battery thing. And here he comes
And here I come.
driving down the aisle. And he's like, I got her now. And he's like, yeah, put his window down. Why didn't you call me? I'm like, oh my gosh.
I
this
said,
is
see
so
what happened when you
embarrassing.
don't call me.
Yes.
I can still remember like it was yesterday. She had her it was a little red raggedy car, man. Had
Oh,
the
my
hood up. I wouldn't even, I'm sorry, I wouldn't even ride in it, man, because it made this noise. But so I turned, she had the hood up, she had on a sundress. It was sunny, her hair was blowing in the wind, and it was like, I got her now. And I swooped up, and that's what I said.
Yeah.
So hold on.
Yeah.
Her assessment of you a few months prior, was that accurate? Were you a hustler?
It was super accurate.
You was a hustler back then.
Right.
And did you have miscellaneous women?
I did have miscellaneous women at the time. I had a lot going on, you know what I'm saying?
So her assessment of you was very accurate.
Yes, it was definitely.
Yeah.
And so when
she
you
nailed it.
So when you pulled up on it, then you said, "All right, here's my chance for a do-over."
Right.
And then what happened?
And then I think she ended up calling me, and we went on our first date to Red Lobster, which we still eat there now from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still remember she pulled up. I think she had Afro puff type hairdo at the time.
She rocks rough and
what
tough
the hell
with my
going
afro
on?
puff.
But
Yeah, but that was the first date, and after
Yeah.
that, it was kind of
Yeah. And I feel like we built a friendship because I think at that time I was like, you know what? Let me just give this guy a chance. We pretty much built a friendship.
Thank you,
and
baby.
so
Appreciate
you're
that.
welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Give this guy a chance.
Yes. So from there, here you go.
And so, how long did y'all date before it began to be official? Where you felt like this is the one for me? Either Doug, you felt that first, or Atiya, did you feel that first? Or like when y'all started dating at that very young age, what did y'all have in mind for a future, or maybe no future?
I know initially I wasn't looking at the future. I was just like, man, she fine, and we gonna kick it
Fine,
and this
honey.
and that.
Hey.
Super fine as ever for me. So so that
I think initially, honestly, it just was like, we're just friends. It felt good. It felt like a good friendship. I could talk to him about it. Was the contrast I'm telling you was crazy. So here you go, this book girl sitting down, schoolgirl, on his floor, coming over to his house, this 20-year-old with a house, that he bought with illegal money. So here I am, on the floor studying with my books. His buddies would come by, and then you have this guy, because at the time, remember, he was still in the streets.
Right.
And it just to partner those two things together, but it's like we had things in common, but we didn't have things in common. But at the same time, because I think we enjoyed being around each other, we kind of found those commonalities, and it just, so for me, it was like a year. So we dated, and I think we got serious towards the end of that year.
Right.
And that's when some things transpired in Indianapolis, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to have to leave.
What's up, Live Fam? This is your boy, Atiya Parson. Listen, I've listened to your requests. You've asked, Lateris, when can we do another retreat? I missed the last one. The next one I'm not going to miss. So I'm letting you know now. I want you to escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life and embark on a transformative journey of self-discovery at our exclusive Clarity Retreat in Cancun. That's going to be September the 26th through the 29th, and I want you to join me. It's real simple. Go to ican'twaittotravel.com. That's ICWTT.com. Go to Group Travel and click on Lateris R. Whitfield's Clarity Retreat. Can't wait to see you there. It's a small deposit to reserve your space, but go ahead and reserve it right now. Don't wait. Reserve it right now. Matter of fact, put in the comments if you're going to the Clarity Retreat. I want to see you say, I'm going. Count me in. All right? See you there. Right. You talked about early on, when you would go out with your homegirls, you would have them pull up and pay for everybody. Would you be?
Well, you know what? He did.
I was paying for everything. They was riding around in the city in my cars and all that.
Cars, plural?
Plural. I can still remember back in the day, I had an S500.
And I busted all the tires.
I let her go to the skating rink. Like Jessica got brand new. This one, guys wasn't worried about 20 or 23 inches. It was Lorenzo's. And she busted every tire and cracked every rim. Well, they were working on the street. Yeah, so I'll never forget that. That's about $5,000-6,000 down the drain.
He was so outdone.
Yeah.
I feel so bad too.
$5,000 or $6,000
back then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All the
and it was like brand new too.
Flat.
You messed up all the tires and all the rims.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, wow.
I know, it was crazy.
So what did you see in that moment with him then? How did he handle that frustration?
Actually, you know what? He just was like, dang, girl, like I was just like, I'm so sorry, and I couldn't even be like, I'll pay for it because I already knew it was going to be expensive.
I was pissed in the beginning, but it was like, it was money wasn't no problem.
Right, he just was like, I'll take care of it. But I don't think I got to drive that car too many times.
I was scared for her to drive it after that for sure.
So during that time, you said car. So how many cars did you have?
I probably had 3 or 4 cars at the time.
And you just let her drive whichever one?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I used to have a red old school Cutlass, maybe a 70 hard top, super clean. She used to stay in that thing.
Yeah,
I can see her now cruising down the road in it. Yeah.
So you would go to school and be driving up to school?
Yeah.
So the people in your, some of your friends, they knew that what your boyfriend was doing?
Yeah, they had to know.
They knew.
If you was in our city, you knew.
Right. You knew.
I wasn't a small and I wasn't a small hustler.
Yeah.
I was a big hustler. Thank God that I made it out unscathed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Definitely my grandparents had to be praying for me day and night.
And fasting.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Definitely. They might not have been a lot of fasting. They was eating good, but hey, they was doing a lot of praying. I'm just keeping it a buck. Shoot.
So what type of dude? I want to know your personality during that time. Was you the type that you was like, hey, listen, I'm taking care of my family, grandma taken care of, everybody was living good around you.
Yeah.
What mentality did you have?
I think back then my mentality was I wasn't the best. I was nice to friends and family, but outside of that, I wasn't the best person. You know what I'm saying? But the line of work I was in, you couldn't be the nice guy, and then I wasn't the biggest guy either. So it kind of went like that. But as far as family and my loved ones, definitely love to take care of them. Sometimes I had to go over my grandparents and tone it down. I couldn't wear all the jewelry. I couldn't go in there smelling a certain way. I could, all that type of stuff because I respected them too much. That's kind of like the king and queen of the family, and it was 10 of them, like 5 boys and 5 girls. So we had a big family.
Yeah.
And church.
He was definitely
church all the time.
So
choir rehearsal.
So you was in the game going to church?
No, that was early on, about 15. I think I about jumped off the porch, and my mom stopped making me go to church every Sunday and stuff like that, and it kind of got out of hand.
Was you one of them dudes that was like sending money to church?
I used to definitely go to church and definitely leave nice offerings. You know what I mean? I will say that.
Oh, my goodness.
And most of everything, I actually love that I could handle my mother because my father, he was on drugs off and on. Mm-hmm. And my mother would call me, seem like every other month, I'd be like, what is he short? And I remember I felt good being able to take care of the bills at the house, because my whole life when I was young, she was always in her bed just figuring numbers, bills and stuff, because my dad done messed the money up. So, Yeah.
Put this in perspective. During that time, weekly, how much you think you were making weekly at 20-something years old?
At 20-something years old, tens of thousands of dollars, like tens of thousands of dollars. Like I might make, I don't know, 100,000 a month, something like that. You know what I'm
Really?
saying?
That's
like
crazy.
really, but see, and the only reason that I was doing that because I was one of the few that had heart enough that was a hustler to go to the West Coast. So my plug was in the West Coast. He was actually in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I used to be there like 2 weeks out of the month, like constantly. Then he showed me how to do certain things, and I kind of made a lot of money. God, thank you for, letting me
So in
make
your
it
early 20s, you was making $100,000
a month. Yeah, and I was spending too, though. You know what I mean? So
So I want perspective. What could you buy at that age that you just
cars, jewelry, you could go out, you could buy little toys, little motorcycles and dogs, and you could go we weren't going nowhere. We
That's
was
what I'm
going
saying.
to
Yeah.
Cincinnati, we was going to Louisville, and we was going to maybe Tennessee. But we was just spending like crazy, going out all the time.
Because you always hear that. You always hear about dudes, drug dealers or whatever. They be broke so shortly after. And you be wondering, like, all this money you making, where is it? Where is it
Right.
going?
Where's it going?
And
Yeah.
that's why I would tell the 20-year-old me to like flip houses and get
Yeah.
into real estate because like I would be
You'll be if you kept that money, had that mentality, you'll be Donald Trump or something. You'll own empires. And
Right.
stuff.
But one of the things that me and my boys talk about is the guys that was kind of putting us in the game, they never told us nothing, but nothing. Like, they didn't tell us nothing.
They can't tell you what they don't know. They
Right.
doing the same thing.
Some,
Right,
but
right.
some of them was a couple of them I can name that actually was doing very well in real estate. In hindsight, that I found out, and I'm like,
Why
this
you
guy
tell
didn't
me?
tell me nothing.
Right. Exactly.
It's crazy.
He says it's crazy.
Anyway.
So
It
how did you
is.
reconcile in your mind, Atiya, that here you are, this church-going woman, this woman that's in school working on her degree, and then you got this drug dealer boyfriend over here?
You know what? Honestly, for me, because I never really was that type of girl that was like, I need you to pay for this. I never asked him for anything.
But you never
You know-
objected when he did it, did you?
I didn't. I did not. I did not. And you know what? I think it was more like, I think we were talking about like plans, like what you could do outside of that. You know what I'm saying? It was never like, I want you to keep doing this because I want you to keep like showering me with all this stuff. And then once those things happened in Indianapolis, I really was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to do something else. And that's when he said, I'm moving. I'm going to another state.
But the crazy thing about it is, I didn't ask her. Like, she had a whole family there, and I had an aunt in Kentucky,
Right.
Lexington, Kentucky. So it was more or less like, hey, like, I'm changing my life. I got to get out of here. Like, that's it. Well, she told me verbatim, you're not leaving me here.
Right.
And I was like,
And,
cool.
but you know what? But really, I'm telling you, it was really one of those
cool.
outer body experiences because it's like I said, you're not
cool.
leaving me so fast. Like,
Yeah.
girl, like you can ready to just get up and leave like your whole family.
I was like,
But
boy,
once
you doing something right.
But once again, it's one of those things that it must have been divine. You
Yeah,
know
it
what
was
I'm saying?
divine.
What did
So-
your parents say? Your parents got to know what he was doing.
Well, that's the thing. So my dad, I literally met my dad 3 times in my whole life. So my dad died of a drug overdose. So we have that in common. Both of our dads were on drugs.
Right.
So
Wow.
I never really was around my biological father. My mom, when I went to college at 18, she moved to the Virgin Islands. So I was pretty much on my own.
Right.
So I paid my way through college initially. Well, the whole time. So for me, it was like leaving my siblings and my brother, grandmother and stuff like that. But I just got up and left because at that time, like I was so close to Doug, even though
was
I had family, he
Yeah,
was
he was
like
family.
Yeah.
right. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, if he's leaving, like, what am I going to do?
Right.
Like, I have to go with him.
Give a shout out to the islands that your family from.
Virgin Islands, St.
Virgin
Croix.
Islands, St. Croix.
St. Croix. There
Big
it
old-
is.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a lot of we get a lot of viewers and subscribers from the islands or whatever.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah, so I look and I be like,
Very
St. Croix, St. Thomas, St.
Yeah.
I look
Shout
at
out
that. And I be
St.
like,
That's
Thomas, too.
right.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
like, that's cool.
Absolutely.
And so, which is interesting. Here you are. When y'all were dating, y'all lost y'all's parents, or was it y'all lost your father? While y'all were married. When did that come?
We lost his father while we were married.
Right.
My father passed away. Literally, I had been in college my freshman year for a couple of weeks. And then I found out he had the drug overdose. They had him on life support. One of my aunts, my dad's sister, came and got me from college because, like I said, my mom was gone. I didn't have a car with me at the time, so she came and got me. I was in the hospital with him for probably like a day or two, and then they decided to take him off life support, you know.
So when you think about that, Doug, selling drugs and watching your family members or your father figures struggle with the very thing that you sold, how did you reconcile that as a man?
Yeah.
You know, it was, I'm going to be honest, when I was young, it really didn't bother me. But as I got older, it was like, wow, maybe I shouldn't. I go back and forth because I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have gave him them drugs when I gave it to him because I used to give my father drugs. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes he wouldn't have money and things like that. But I'm like, I know if I don't give it to him, he going to go out there and do some. I only mentioned some of the things he did, you know, and got hurt behind those things. So, you know, I can remember just being in my house and just like I had it was a window right by my bed. This is the same house she said she used to come to that I bought. And he'd be knocking on my window 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. D. And it just be like, I used to be so mad, but it was crazy. So as an adult, I go back and forth. Like if I didn't give it to him, it might have been something treacherous that happened. So that's kind of how it was.
And when you think about like even being that young, did you deal with the same thing, not having your father present in your life because he was on drugs early on?
You know what? My father was off and on. So although he might be on drugs, like he might go bad on drugs for like 2 or 3 months. And then after he pop out, he's dressing fly, buying cars, everything. So it literally was like he is 100% cool dude, on point, working, and then like he'd just fall off for 3 months, and then he'd come back up.
Really?
And no his parents were married.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, his parents were, a matter of fact, 2 different times. Like
2 different times.
His mom ended up divorcing him, and then they got back married. My mom and my parents were never together.
Right.
Yeah. So once my mom found out that my dad started doing drugs not too long after she got pregnant with me. And so his family pretty much was like telling my mom, you need to leave him alone because he's going down the wrong path, you know?
That's what your mom said?
Yes, that's what my mom said that his side of the family was saying. But I mean, he was happy that, she was pregnant and all that. But, drugs, takes on a whole nother personality once those drugs get a hold of you. So it's something that I never held against him, and when I met him for the first time when I was 14.
Wow.
And so I think he pretty much was feeling like I was going to hold a grudge. And I just, I said it in a respectful way, but I was like, you missed out. Like, I'm not upset with you. You missed out. Because my mom did the best she could. And I did have I grew up with a stepfather that was an attorney, but it was 6 of us, so he did the best he could. And that relationship wasn't the best, So I never really had that model. So when Doug and I got together and we ended up getting married, it's been a lot of trial and error because we didn't have good examples, know?
Yeah. And so y'all packed up, moved. You said you had to get out the game because it got a little too rough out there.
Right.
And so you decided to change your life.
Change my life.
And it wasn't an easy thing.
It definitely was.
Because y'all, at the beginning of y'all's relationship, it was a lot of struggling going on.
Yes.
And so explain that time as a young couple. Were y'all married at this time or were y'all still dating when y'all, got together and he gave up the game?
So we left when I was, I want to say 22 years old. And it's funny because I look back at that and like, damn, you was doing all that before you was 22 years old.
Crazy.
Crazy.
So 22, we went to Lexington, Kentucky. And when we left, I had that Benz I was talking about. I had a Lexus coupe back then, all gold rims, all type of cars.
Yeah.
So boom, we went, right? So I think I got a beauty shop first. That didn't work. Ran through a whole lot of money. So boom, now I gotta sell the cars. So run through that money. Now I gotta go get a job. Okay, so the first job I got was detailing cars at the auto auction. Mind you, when I first started that job, no, maybe not. Yeah, when I first started that job, it's like I used to drive these cars before I sold them to work. So they're looking at me like,
how you know I use all these cars? Like,
no, they like,
why are you washing cars?
How you washing cars?
Pulling up?
Yeah, you pulling up in this, right? So it was real weird to them, but
because you still before that you still had one of those cars. You would pull up in that. They like
even temp job had a temp job or two and pull up in the Benz and stuff like that, the Lexus in that, and they like, what's going on? Like something don't don't
the
add
math
up.
ain't math.
Right. But I could just remember, waking up and looking in the mirror, when that happened, I used to be like, man, like, this is like real life. Like, in real life, this is real life. Like, I don't know if I could do it. Then I started calling my guys and stuff like, hey, what's going on there? Man, just come back. We'll look out for you, get you back right. We'll look this. And, she then would call my mother. Like, hey, D talking about coming back. You know what I'm saying? And I used to be so pissed, but I thank you now, Angel.
Yes, he was so mad. He's like, I'm a grown man and you calling my mom. But I was
made you act right, though, didn't
it? Yeah, it did.
And it was like anything necessary to get him to not go back. And I would even say, you can go and I'm not going to go, anything to
I'm
try
like,
to get
whatever.
him to not go back to
So
that
what your mom
life.
say to you?
My mom would be like, Nadine, you can't come back here. It's not a good thing if you come back. Just like really kick the reality to me. Like, you're going to come back, you're going to be dead, selling drugs in prison, one of the two, like the other guys, like a lot of the people that I grew up with, a lot of them got murdered. A lot of them just now, again, we left in 1996. A lot of them just now coming home from prison and stuff like that.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy, man.
I graduated high school in 96. And to think what I've accomplished in all those years and to know like somebody was locked up all that time.
Right.
And here it is in 2024 and they just getting out time. Like, yeah, I just did this bid.
Yeah.
Right.
What?
It's crazy. It's crazy to think about that.
But when you look at the grace of God over your life that allowed you to get out of the very thing that you kept trying to get to, try to go back to, and that you had a woman that was wise enough to be like, I don't care if you get mad. I'm going to tell your mom, I'm going to tell you what you don't want to hear because I don't want to lose you.
Right.
And then she saw the greatness inside of you to say, listen, there is more in you. We going to struggle through whatever we got to struggle through, and we going to get to greatness.
Right.
And so how did it feel working, getting paid crumbs pretty much over there washing cars when you used to make that $100,000 a month?
It felt terrible, man. I was depressed. Like, and I'm telling you, I used to wake up every morning in that 1-bedroom apartment and look in that mirror and just be like, what is this? They say, what is this?
What is this?
What is this? So
What'd you do with the house? You sold it?
Yeah, I did sell it. Yep, I did end up selling the house. And when I left, like, nobody knew I was leaving. It kind of like leave in the middle of the night. I don't want nobody to know where I'm going, stuff like that.
Literally, we left in the middle of the night with the U-Haul.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I can remember coming back to sell the house, and it was like I parked way away from the main street, and I walked up. Because I could have came back and easily, like, could have got killed or anything, So, and then when we left, I don't think I went back regularly for like a decade.
Yeah, he didn't.
I didn't go back. Even to my closest friends, I didn't talk to them, but every blue moon, and they be like, "Where you at, man? Don't worry about where I'm at. I'm just checking in." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
When you left, you left.
I left, man.
Right.
It was too much going on.
And so then, of course, a man not feeling like he could provide for his household brings about a whole lot of different insecurities, a lot of depression. How did you navigate that space? I know mom said don't come back.
Right.
What did you do though?
Right.
I really just kept on pushing, man. I never really she always was there for me. I never felt one inkling that she would go outside and try to talk to somebody because I wasn't the same guy I was financially and things like that. So I didn't even really worry about not being able to. I mean, we was young, so I was still making enough money to do what I needed to do. And she had a job, so
was still in school.
Are you still in school now?
Still, I transferred there.
Yeah.
When we said we were leaving,
Y'all making adult decisions.
Okay.
Yeah. And y'all weren't even married at this time.
No, not even married. I mean, it's crazy when I look back and think about all
if I had a
this.
child doing that, I'd be like, oh, Lord, my child I didn't even raise her right. She over run around with this dude and moved to a whole nother state. It just be so stressful.
Yeah. I know.
And so then were y'all happy and thriving during that time? Even with
initially? Like when I got started, didn't have hardly no bread no more, no money. I can remember just being depressed, and I can remember us going through I didn't feel right, when I was just doing like that. And it wasn't like, it would be up and down.
Yeah,
you know
up and down. Yeah, up and down.
And then when did talks about marriage come to play?
When we had my...
Well, that was probably 4 years. So we had been dating for 4 years. And I would say probably like a year and a half, 2 years before that. So 2 years into it, because I have 3 stepsons. So he has 3 children before, we got together. And so he kept saying he wanted a baby because remember, even though we would get them still, it was different not having a child with him. And I just remember kept thinking like, we need to be married. We need to be married, And so it was 4 years that we had been together. And then all of a sudden
you had three kids by the age of 20.
Man, I had my first child. I had my
15.
first at 15 and 3 years thereafter. So at 15,
18 and 21. Mm-hmm.
And then 3 years after that, my oldest with her, and then
and 3 years out. So the crazy,
every 3 years,
right? But the crazy thing is, our two were planned, and they're still 3 years apart. So everyone is 3 years apart.
I can remember being 15. I come in, hey, no, I think the girl mother might have called my father and said that I done got this girl pregnant, and it was like how you know that's your baby? I'm like, Dad, she riding her bike down here every day in the summertime, and we going all day. Forgive me. So yeah, that's my child. Then when he came out, I couldn't deny him, man. Yeah.
Did you tell Dad she rode her bike down here?
Right.
From 21st, anybody watching in Naptown, 21st in Arlington, and bring me breakfast and everything. We was young, man, on that 10 speed.
Oh my goodness. Doing way too much.
Man, that is a trip. So you had 3 kids. How was you? Were you in the kids' lives early on?
Absolutely.
Like
So I'd be in the streets, man, and say for instance, it might be a Saturday. Everybody's out riding up and down 38th Street, we call it. I got my cars out. I got my boys in the back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they was with me a lot. Every time we would get them, when we moved out of town, we would go get them for weeks at a time.
And in the summer,
take them shopping. Everybody got the same.
Yeah.
And
Right.
So we did that right.
Mm-hmm.
And so how did the talks of marriage come up? You said y'all had a child before y'all got married.
We did, and that's kind of like, I think you was really pushing in.
But we
you?
were already engaged.
Okay.
So when he proposed to me, probably like
We've been
a
down
couple of months later is when I found out I was expecting with our first one together. Yeah. So we were already engaged though. And so we just pretty much kind of like kept the same date of when we were going to get married. So I think Dre's our oldest was 6 months at the time when we got married. But it just was like, okay, like I guess I was never pressuring him like, okay, you need to. I wasn't like you
need
to.
She said something when the baby was coming. She like, I always wanted to like be married.
Right.
When I had a baby.
Because after he proposed and then I found out I was married, I'm like, we need to change the date. Like I felt like people were going to think we got married just because of the baby.
She was saying
he's
that.
like, but we know what it is, so it doesn't matter what anyone thinks,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you want to marry her?
Yeah, let's hear this part.
Yeah.
Whoa. She was such a good person. You know how like sometimes you can have a beautiful woman, but she's ugly on the inside. Well, I God blessed me with her, and she was beautiful on the outside and inside. She was real caring. She could cook. She believed in me.
Babe.
It was just so much. She was just the total package for me. And the perfect package. So like I had buddies and they had women, but they might look fine, but they had a nasty attitude, or they didn't look fine and had a great attitude. Well, it's like I got blessed with everything. And I can still remember one thing my father said before he passed away in a car accident. He was like, hey boy, don't be no damn fool and like not do the right thing by your wife. And like that's just stuck with me. Even when we went through it over the years, like remember what your daddy said, boy, he said don't be no fool. So I told you that too, right? Yeah. So
yeah.
But when you think of that, though, I'm saying you already had that. You need a ring to put on it. So
what made me like want to put
Yeah.
that made it official for me. You know what I'm saying?
So you felt like it wasn't official until you married her?
I think we was in tune, but it was just like that was the, like, you know how you paint a car, then you put the clear coat on it, then you get the orange peels out. You got to make it like it was just time. I just felt like it was time. I felt like she was the perfect person. I had the money, finally got a little money back up where I can get her this, and she still got the ring to this day.
Same ring.
Right, but I remember I remember when we went out looking, when I decided, hey, I'm going to marry her. It was like we went out and I was like, just show me what type of ring you like. So we went all through the store and she was like, I like that ring right there. And it might have been $15,000, $20,000.
Dang, back then?
Back then.
You picked out a $15,000, $20,000?
Yeah, look,
but then I
best
think they
thing,
had a sale.
boom, half off sale. So I'm like, you won't get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I went back and I put it in layaway while it was still like a 50% off sale. Yep, and then I came, and then I think we was doing something, just chilling, and I put the ring in a glass of champagne. I was like, "Here, have some champagne," and she was like, "Yeah."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's like, hold on a second, because I was probably getting ready to drink and accidentally look, swallow the ring.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And so, what did your mom say when you told her that, hey, Doug and I are getting married?
Did you even say something to her?
You know what? I'm trying to think.
I hope you did. We gotta tell her now, y'all.
Oh, no.
They married now.
I think initially my family probably had reservations at first because, they knew, especially my older brother, because so it's 6 of us, 3 girls and 3 boys. So I'm the second oldest. So my brother that's older than me, we're really close because we're close in age. So he had reservations about
he
Doug.
did.
But he's the type of person, he's real neutral. He's a Gemini. Like, he's not opinionated. He's a good listener. So he never really said, like, I don't like this dude isn't right for you.
We became friends through music.
Yes.
So back then I wanted to have a record label, and I wanted to do this production thing, and her brother always was a DJ, done production and all that. So when I think the first time we really kicked it, we went in his basement, and he was teaching me how to make beats. And that's when we really got, after that, we were super close. Like, that's like my brother.
So I think by at that point in our relationship, everyone was fine with it. They were okay. It was a good thing. Because if you think about it, and marriage isn't for everyone, and now the person I am at this age, if we would have ended up staying together all those years and never got married, I might have been okay with it because it's a piece of paper. But I think for me at the time, I was like, okay, my 21-year-old self, my 23, 24 at the time, I'm like, we have to be married. You know what I'm saying?
I stand on getting married.
See, listen to this. All right, so I want to hear these different opinions because this is interesting.
Yeah.
It is.
Because you'll hear the reverse oftentimes.
Right.
You said that now, and how old are you?
I'm getting ready to be 50. I'm 49.
She's in her 40s.
So listen to this. So you said, I've been married how many years?
28.
No,
we've been together 28. We've been married 24 years.
24 years. You say, now you look back and say, marriage is just a piece of paper.
I say it for me, I would want to be married, but I'm saying talking to other women, I
thought you were talking about talking for you.
No.
What you said a while ago.
No.
You said now, you said back then it meant something to me, but right now I would have been
no.
Listen, if she did, that's because she already got the piece of paper.
Listen to him.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying, I think what I'm trying to say is, for me, I would still want to be married. Like, then I wanted to be married. Now I would want to be married. But I think it was so much emphasis on it growing up that you have to be married, you have to be married. But now that I'm older and I talk to me, I would still want to be married. But now that I'm older and I talk to other women,
like, maybe I wouldn't have to be.
Yeah, because I would still want to be married. But I'm saying, for me, it wouldn't be like, oh my God, like, you've been with this man for 10 years and you're not married. Back then I would have been like, girl, like, you need to be getting married. But to each his own. Like, it's different for everyone else. So mine has shifted. However, for me though, no,
some people like.
The only way I make sure. Hold on, Doug, because what she said, Doug, I hear women clearly. What she said is that, hindsight being 2020, I would have been okay, never have gotten married because of what we have. Back then, it was important to get married.
So everybody out there, let me clarify.
We heard what you said.
That would be a no. We need to be married.
Yeah, because I was like, and he said, for the record, I want to get married.
Yes.
And so that's why I said, hold on. We always, because I've heard women nowadays, I've been hearing more women say that marriage doesn't have much value anymore.
And that's what I hear.
That's what you've been hearing.
That's what I've been hearing too.
So they've been saying marriage don't have value. You've always heard men say that. You've always heard men be like, marriage ain't nothing but a piece of paper. Right. What we got between each other. I mean, so this piece of paper ain't gonna make it no more significant. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then I'm hearing women speak like that. And that's when I start saying, wow, this is it's bad. And I say, I wonder if it's because of the fact that women don't possess the power and the control on when a man proposes or anything. Right. So in the sense of just saying, you know what?
Women can, though.
Well, if they propose to them?
That women can propose to a man.
No. So would you want her propose to you?
I would have. Yeah, I just thought I was the big dog if she did that.
That would have never happened.
I just feel like this.
That would have
Never. I just saying, like, I feel like if it's true love and a woman like step up, I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with that.
So if your woman got her knee and proposed to you, you tell me you'd have been like, yes.
No, I wouldn't have said yes. I would have got down there with her.
This is the moment. Oh my God.
Let's be clear. I would have got down there with her, maybe stood her up and said yes. But like, I just feel like a woman can ask a man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, this is gonna go viral. This is good. It's gonna be a moment.
You know what? You're right. But let me say this: a woman can ask the man. That could be something real, and I believe that the man may not have asked yet or whatever reason, but I just feel like a woman can ask.
So you think that her asking would motivate him to say yes when some people, not everybody.
But let me tell you from a woman's perspective. And I stand on this.
Whoa. She's standing on this, y'all.
I'm standing on business.
Yes.
I'm the type of person, if I have to tell you to do something that you know you should be doing. Yeah. So I think that's probably why some women are like, you know what, I'm cool with this. Because I'm thinking they would rather be with that person in place of having to force that man to make a decision that they feel like he should already be making.
Right. Yeah.
I'm the type of person, if I have to tell you what to do, then it's gonna be a no.
What if it was a guy that was a bit shy? What was that? What was he was really nervous. Hold on. He was really nervous. They in a relationship and he like, man, I know we together and we love each other, but I'm just scared to death to ask her, right? So then the woman asks and he's like, oh my God, like I'm so happy. Like I really wanted to ask you, like, you know, so I don't feel like you got to be less than if the woman asks. I think a woman can ask. I'm standing on that.
No, I would not say that the man is less than.
Okay,
however,
good.
I'm gonna need that man to go on and put his big boy pants on and make it happen.
Well, I did that
because he's gonna have to make some decisions. So
exactly.
The way I look at it is this, because I've said this on my podcast. I be saying, women, get up off your knees proposing to a man,
right?
Because the reason why is because I just believe in traditional leadership from the standpoint of a man has to show some form of leadership to be able to say, listen, you have to be able to trust me to lead our home.
Right.
If I can't even ask the question that ignites the start of leadership, then what is that?
You married.
I'm not no more. Okay. I've been married before.
Okay, so when you was married, right? When did you ask your wife to marry you? Like, do you remember that?
Yeah, I was, and I did in a big way.
Okay.
I was 28 years old.
Right.
I did this whole proposal. It's still on YouTube. If you
go
look
on and check that out.
Look that up.
Yeah.
I'm so embarrassed now. Made y'all go look at it. Jesus, I don't know why I said that to y'all.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we can look that up, guys.
I promise.
Stay
so
tuned.
what I did was I was doing national plays during that time.
Okay.
And we were here in Dallas, had this big show. It had Dottie Peoples, Little G from Silk, Kenny Lattimore, Lenny Williams, Shantae Moore. All these people was in the play.
Right.
And I had a lot of the celebrities sing background for me, and I ain't no singer, right?
Yeah.
So I wrote this song. I had it rehearsed. I had it produced by Fred Hammond's former producer. So I did a big deal.
Yeah.
It was in, matter of fact, February. What's the day? February
Today's the
5th. It was February the 5th.
Wow.
Man, that's a lot of numbers adding up for us.
Can you believe
it was
that?
on February the 5th. We
That's
had
crazy.
this conversation.
Wow.
And we did it.
I just got chills.
Yeah,
Me
that's
too.
what just got me while you said this. I was like, wow, that was on February the 5th.
Divine.
Because what happened was when I had 4 dozen roses brought out.
Right.
And each color rose represented an emotion.
Right.
And, with color theory. And so I had one guy come out with 12 dozen of roses of yellow and then pink and then red and all that. And so, and then the lyric of the song complemented the color of the roses. And then it talked about the symbolism in it. And so we singing this thing. And at the very end, I get down on my knee. At first, you just thought that I was just... Because I said, hey, just give me an opportunity just to serenade my beautiful black queen.
Right.
And so I do this, and I'm singing this song in front of the world, in front of this packed out audience at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters. There's over 1,770 people there.
Wow.
And And this is when I started realizing how artists, like when the audience starts hollering like that, you can't even hear the music no more. So I'm singing, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know if I'm on the right key, if I'm in the right tempo. I was like, they just hollering. I'm going, oh my God.
Oh my
So I'm over here
goodness.
singing this song and I get down on my knee and I pull out this 4-carat ring and I put it on her finger.
Ooh.
Right.
I had this custom ring done for her
Right.
and I proposed to her in that moment. The reason why is because here it was, this woman that during my journey of dreaming, I call it the dreaming journey. When you say, you sit back, baby, watch one day, I'm gonna have national plays on tour. I'm gonna do this. And at that time,
You had it.
I ain't had nothing when I'm dreaming these moments.
well.
I ain't had nothing. I'm sitting up here. Didn't even have a car at that moment. I think my car ended up. Oh, that's what happened. This lady hit me. I've always been a giver.
Right.
This lady hit me and she messed her car up more than mine. And she was an older lady and wasn't going to be able to get to work. So I used to go pick her up and take her to work for a minute.
Wow.
Oh
Then
my
I got tired
goodness.
of taking her to work and I just said, God said, give her your car.
Wow.
So I gave her my car and I started catching the bus.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
You bringing back all these memories.
Oh my
And so
God.
I started
Wow.
catching the bus to
Story.
work. I just gave her my car. I had this little old 95 green Taurus. It was a little
Taurus.
Taurus, a Ford Taurus. Y'all know about them Ford Taurus.
Yes.
What?
I
We
had-
got a story
I had
about
a good
Ford
one.
Taurus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had a little Taurus. I gave it to that lady or whatever. And so then I didn't have a car. So then when I met my, who later became my wife, me and her was dating or whatnot. I don't even have a car.
Right.
So then she ended up letting me drive her car when I wanted to go to church.
Right.
So I would drive her car to church or whatnot.
Right.
And but here she was, I'm dreaming like one day I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have
Right,
that.
right.
And so and then I end up getting that. And I mean we dated for like 7 years.
Wow.
Because I was like 22 or something, 21.
Okay.
Yeah, from about 21 to 28. And then I ended up getting married.
So that's when you asked her.
Yes,
When
I
he
asked
was
her on
28.
stage in front of everybody in a
All
big
right.
way. Proposed to her right after the proposal. Already had an engagement party set up upstairs at the venue. So
Oh,
I proposed
wow.
to her and all her family was there. We went upstairs and celebrated.
Okay.
Wow, that's
and that was a
amazing.
hell of a story. Now,
Yes.
here we go. You remember the day you did that on stage, the different color flowers represented different stuff. What if she would have asked you to marry her a day before?
I would have said no.
But I'm saying, it would have been less, you wouldn't have been no less of a man, I feel like, if you said,
If I would have
I'll
said yes,
marry you.
If I would have said yes to that, it would have changed the So you got to think about it, Doug. I'm the type, I don't even like a woman to shoot her shot with me.
Okay.
So and I say this on my podcast. I say men should pursue and not persuade.
Right.
And a woman should present and not pursue.
I pursued her.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
think about that. So my ideology is this, and everybody's different, but this is
Right.
what works for my makeup.
Right.
If a woman comes to me and say, "Hey, can I take you out?"
Yeah.
It throws me off. I just malfunction
get it.
because I say I don't even know how to. I
I don't know what you
don't know what to say. I'm
Right.
like, and if I'm not interested, I say no, I'm not interested.
Right.
But the truth be told, even if I was interested, I would say I'm not interested in how
Because
you
that's
did
not
that.
the type of woman for you. A little too aggressive.
Yes, just
Yeah.
say hi to me. I'll do the rest.
Right.
So a woman a man, that's what I said, for everybody to each his own.
Right.
But if a woman has to propose to a man,
Yeah.
I believe that you are creating the foundation of what y'all's marriage is going to be. So if he doesn't take the leadership in any other area, you
Right.
can't complain.
Right. Right.
You ask him about, now what's the vision for our marriage? He be like, I don't know. You the one that asked me to get married. You tell me what the vision
Right,
is.
right.
And women are amazing leaders. That's
Yeah.
another thing. Women are dynamic leaders, but most women that I talk to that are killing it in corporate America,
Right.
that's making all this money,
Yeah.
they said, I don't want to lead in my home. I have
Really?
never met
Okay.
a woman that says, I have never, and I've talked to hundreds of women,
Right.
they have never said, I want to be the leader in my household.
Yeah.
They always say, I'm doing this, but I need a man that I can trust enough to lead me.
Right.
Because I don't want to be out here working all doing this and then have to leave my home.
Right.
get it.
Right.
And they all say that. I'm talking about some of the most powerful women you could think of making
Yeah.
money like
Right.
crazy. They say, I
can
don't
see
want
that.
that
Right.
position.
Right.
And
see
so
that.
from a marriage standpoint, and I've seen it before where on social media, you've seen it where women have gotten down and proposed to men. I saw a video just last week.
Yeah.
Got down, proposed to a man, and the man's like, No, and walked off. Like, how do you recover from that as a woman? She
Exactly.
was never supposed to be in that position.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord.
Right.
So if I'm finding her and I see her and I say, you know what? And the greatest honor that you can give a woman is when you see who she is to you.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you can see her and say, listen, you're my wife. You're
Right.
the person that's going to be the mother of my child. You're the person I want to build legacy
Right.
with. But if she has to see that in you, it does
Yeah.
something a little
It does
different in
something
her.
a little
it
different.
does something different. So
Yeah.
Doug, I'm glad that Atiya didn't get down to propose to you.
Hey, I don't think
Exactly.
she would ever did that. And
No,
for the record,
no.
guys,
What?
I'm just saying I could see it from two ways.
We understand.
Yeah.
So I'm not totally going that way, but I'm just saying it could happen.
It can happen.
Yeah.
And
The
it
sky-
has happened.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has happened.
It
So,
has happened.
For the most part, guys, y'all need to, get
Step
down.
up.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's the beauty of it, too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's the intentionality of a man.
Right.
Because I believe, unfortunately, we have... I'm about to say, don't even counsel me, but I don't give a damn. I'll stand on it. It's too much estrogen running around in men nowadays.
Yeah.
And this leadership mindset that we should have as men are falling by the wayside. That's why that's why women, unfortunately, have been taking the leadership role in too many areas that they shouldn't have to do it in.
Right.
Because you hear women all the time, or men get mad at women talking about, well, y'all women, y'all boss women, y'all doing this or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, well,
Right.
what else are they supposed to do?
Right.
Like, if
Right.
there's a job to take, they want the job, go do it.
Yeah, yeah.
While you
Exactly.
sitting at home playing video games all day, they said, I want to make more out of my life. But then
Exactly.
you hear men get upset about women taking those positions and taking those roles and killing it in the workplace.
Right.
Killing it. I read studies where in 2020, black women created more businesses during the pandemic than
I believe
ever
it.
in the history of our generation.
it's
I
in
believe
them.
it.
And
It's in us.
it's in them, and just like like my contractors and stuff for when we flipping houses and stuff, woman, my best
Women, yeah.
experiences working is with women. I
Right.
stand on that. I wish all my contractors was women. They gonna be there.
Yeah.
They creative. They
Right.
gonna make sure everything right. And then, far as Blondie, it's like if I ever mention the inkling of something that I wanted to do, hey, I think I want to do a clothing store and a studio. And I'm at the crib chilling. Hey, I went around. Guess what? Here go a list of places that was for lease and da 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 da.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she always been there. And I'm gonna say this too. She's been my biggest supporter because, like I say, about 60-70% of the time in real estate, I flourished, but it was a time here or there where it wasn't, and the money was bad, and she never once said, well, why don't you go see about this job, or why don't you go see what you can do over there? You know what I'm saying? And it was sometimes that I didn't have money to get a haircut. You
Teach.
gonna get gas
Right.
or a haircut.
Teach.
I might go out there and get my car, and she got a $100 bill or $50 bill on my steering wheel.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, you just
Right.
got to find you one that's there. You know what I'm saying?
And so that's so then when you start talking about the value of marriage,
Right.
that's what comes with marriage.
Real.
Right.
Is that when you hear men that say, I don't see the value in marriage, what they always think about is stories where they are friends or even themselves
Right.
that have gotten married and the woman took half of what they had
Right,
and all that type
right.
of stuff.
Right.
You rarely hear the story of, no, I had this woman beside me that didn't devalue me as a man, that put $100 on my steering wheel to say, baby. Or the woman that's working and the man, unfortunately, is on his down season,
Yeah.
but he ain't lazy. He's still trying to
Right,
grind.
yeah.
But
right.
as a married couple, what's
Yeah.
yours is mine, and what's
That's
ours
right.
is ours. We're all
Right.
doing this together.
Exactly.
Right.
And she slides the credit card over your side of the
Yeah.
table when the waitress come, and then you pay.
That's
And then
right.
she like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep you
Right.
covered. That's
That's
the part
right.
of marriage that I feel like needs to be amplified more.
Right.
Because the beauty of teamwork. And so when you talk about how much you get out of marriage, where you hear a lot of people say it was nothing but a piece of paper. $1 is a piece of paper.
That's
A
right.
$100 bill is
Right.
a piece of paper, but
Right.
you still
Yeah.
want
Right.
it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so we hear this so much like it's just a piece of paper.
Right.
A
Yeah.
contract is a piece of paper, but I
Right.
guarantee you tell somebody to sign it. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? It's like when if you went and got a mortgage or you went and bought a house, you would
Right.
never tell them, I'm gonna take your word at
Right.
it.
Right.
You be like, I need to
Exactly.
see the title. I need to see that. They're like,
Exactly.
no, don't worry about it. Just a piece of paper.
Right.
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 You don't need that. That's a
Yeah.
piece of paper. You
That's
like,
right.
They like, you bought the house. You gonna be
Exactly.
like, I need the paperwork. They like,
Hello.
you know you got it. Here's the key.
Right.
Welcome to your new home.
Exactly.
Nobody will be comfortable enough spending a couple of $100,000 on a house and they don't have the paper for it.
Exactly.
No, you gotta have that
That's
But
right.
we're gonna build legacy with somebody. We're gonna live with somebody, have kids together,
Right.
have bank accounts, joint or separate, buying furniture, do all this type of stuff, and we just say we don't know what's gonna happen if it
Right.
end up ending.
Right.
Or
Right.
if you were to die or something were to happen to you, I don't even have power of attorney to speak on your behalf.
Exactly.
I have
Right.
nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They're gonna say next to kin.
Yeah.
And
Next to
then
kin.
your kids have more authority than you did, and you the one that produced the kid with them.
Exactly.
And that don't even make sense.
Exactly.
And it's funny,
Right.
and it's all about the legacy for real. That's the name of our company. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? We 50-50 on that. And then, you know, like I say, like we're both celebrity realtors, of course, but like our whole thing is like teaching people how to flip houses
Right.
and leave a legacy for themselves,
Right.
gain some wealth on the
Right.
way. So that's what
Right.
we push.
Would it be okay without the paperwork?
No.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No, you're like, okay, no.
Right.
And that's why
Right.
we minimize it by this crazy ideology we get based out of hurt and trauma.
Right.
And then we devalue the whole system, the whole institution of marriage.
Right.
You know,
Right.
instead of saying, no, if you marry a right one, go ahead and talk to the Parsons. They'll tell you what it looks like when you do marriage right.
Right.
They'll tell you what it looks like when y'all are 10 toes down
Right.
for each other and y'all build something
That's
together.
And we
right.
can tell them about when everything wasn't all strawberries and whipped cream too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that just made us
How
stronger.
bad did it get?
Ooh.
It got as bad as it could get.
It got,
you know, I mean, it was.
it got real bad.
Tell me how bad it get.
To where like I'm gonna talk to an attorney.
Wow, what happened
Right.
during that season?
No. There was about one time she left. She left the house and went over her
yes.
sister's house for I don't know. It might
Yeah,
have been
like-
48 hours, 24 hours.
Went over to my
I
sister's
can
house
remember
before.
she was in a gated community. I was trying to get through the gates, that gated apartments. I'm trying to get through there, come home. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? So she wouldn't even gone 2 or 3 days. I had to.
It was for me the transparency. So that's why at the beginning when you asked what our movie would be called, it would be Transparent, because he was not transparent at the time. And I'm telling you, this social media can be a devil.
Yeah, it can be.
Because when you get to a certain status in life and women think that you have something, you know, based on like what they see on social media and they want that, you know, they're all in the DMs, and it's like it's a thin line between, okay, that's a little inappropriate. And
Yeah.
for me, is when you don't shut it down, which he was not shutting it down. So to me, it seems like if you don't shut it down, then you're kind of like opening up the door so that woman, then she's gonna start saying something else, and then I feel like that's disrespectful to me.
And
you
that's
know?
when I learned boundaries, isn't it, babe?
Absolutely.
Hey, boundaries.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Word of the day. Boundaries.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keywords. I have a couple more, but boundaries. Yeah. Love languages. Gotta learn
Okay.
that too.
So Doug, what happened? What was going on in the DMs?
He saw that attorney card. He was
So this is what happened. So somebody got with me in the DM. Basically, they was like, "Hey," and this young lady had been following me for years, and like I definitely was talking to her. Told, "Hey, go get your real estate license." She was watching, so it was a few DMs here and there over the years. And then just out of the blue, one time she was like, "Hey, I want to take you to lunch or whatnot. And I want to talk about how I could better myself and blah, blah, blah." So, and then I went, it was at Toast, guys, in Atlanta.
Oh,
Went to
Lord.
Toast. Everybody's in there. And we went there and talked or whatnot. And it was nothing. I came home, and then I think I came home, and it was the next day or so, maybe.
No, it was that day.
Oh, that day, and she might.
She
What'd
said,
you
no, it was
say?
that
What?
day.
That
Yeah.
day.
What did you say? Did you go? What'd you say?
I said, "Oh, I heard you was at Toast today having lunch."
Some people told
Right.
you.
Well, I
Toast is a
actually,
big place.
I'm like a little detective.
Absolutely.
I had
She
already.
also sees through walls. Also, like I'm not playing. She can hear for miles. I promise you. Like I stand on that.
You said she can hear for miles?
For miles.
Doug, she can hear for miles.
If you go in this other room, if you go outside that door and say something, she gonna hear. Be like, "Dang, how'd she hear that?" It's crazy.
So you said so, Tia. You said you're a detective. What happened?
I had. By the time he got home, I had already talked to the female.
She had it laid out.
already figured out how to pull up his DMs on Instagram.
But how you been suspected to begin with?
Because
Somebody calls you, right?
yeah, so someone told me, and then I went through his DMs on Instagram and I found her number and I called her, and it was
delete your DMs. I'm just playing. Delete y'all DMs if you want to stay married. I'm kidding. Don't do it,
but do it.
Right.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
So she had already, and she actually said, I see y'all together on social media all the time. So she said, I actually thought you were going to be with him, So she said it was strictly about business. I was asking him about real estate, blah, blah, blah. And so I just was talking to her, and I wasn't upset. I was talking to her from a women's standpoint, how it looked. You know what I'm saying? So for me, as soon as he walked in and he was not with me and you expected, like,
why you say something?
Exactly. So and
did she make mention? Did she say, "Oh, did your wife?"
I don't recall what she said, but it wasn't. It was strictly business. It wasn't like she was trying to holler at me, at least from what I knew.
And she said he was not inappropriate. She said it was about business. And I just, from that point, I just was like, anybody wanting a mentor, they need to come through me.
Yeah. So if somebody hit me and she's a female and they say, hey, like, I love you. I've been following you. I want you to show me this. And
you talk to my wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hold the line.
Hold the line. I mean, we went through, we still go to therapy. So we went through marriage counseling and everything.
How y'all got through that. So you came home.
Yeah.
You brought up, you already did your detective work. And like women do is like, where did you go today? And you was waiting for him to tell the truth?
I was waiting for him to tell the truth.
No, I think you said, did you go to Toast today or did you go to lunch today?
Right. I think I came straight out with it.
But you didn't ask him. So did you say, were you with, who was you with?
I think I said, who was you with? And so I think you tried to say you was with one of your friends too. I think at first he tried to say,
yeah.
Forgive me for lying if I was.
I think he tried to say he was with one of his friends too, and the female.
Oh.
So I mean, it finally all of that came out, but that wasn't the first like DM thing. Like it's been a couple of other females, but now, like I said, we're in this counseling, and so he knows boundaries, he knows transparency, he knows we on zero chances.
And I don't have. This is what I call it. I don't have no get out of jail free cards. You know what I'm saying?
We on zero.
So guys, this is what you got to do. You got to.
I'll be like, I don't care about the book, the business. We on zero.
Hello, Doug have a testimony. What
No, so guys, you got to wear your blinders. Like horses wear blinders. So I'll be like, and I tell all my friends, you got to wear your blinders and you got to have boundaries. You know what I'm saying? And I will say this. I will say this, and I tell her all the time, like, I feel so good to like not be out here doing nothing. Don't I, babe? I be like, boy, I feel so good. Like, I ain't got to worry about nothing.
You ain't got no stress.
I'm going to sit here in this house and watch the game.
It better feel real good.
Eat some chicken wings. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feel good because I see those guys who messed up and they wife gone and they beautiful, working out, thriving, and then he over here. And it be like... And then she go get a guy that's even, more better,
upgrade.
Yeah,
you would
upgrade.
hate it. You would absolutely hate to see that, wouldn't you?
You already said it.
I absolutely will not see that. How about that?
Keep them horse blinders on.
Hey, boy, I'll be like, babe, it feel good just not to worry about nothing.
Right.
It feels good, guys. Try it.
And so answer this. When you talk about boundaries, how far were boundaries crossed? Did you ever go all the way and have sex with another woman?
No.
He said that.
How you say that in Spanish, African, Samoan? No, no. I would say something else. No, but I ain't done that. Nah, she ain't seen no remnants of that or nothing.
And so just by the fact that boundaries were crossed, and the boundaries you saw crossed was he was just meeting with women without your knowledge.
Well, the one female was the only female that I know that he actually had lunch with. But just seeing other DMs where it's like, okay, you need to quit entertaining. And honestly, I'm not a man, so I have no, but I think sometimes men get caught up on egos. And even though even though I feel like he's happily married,
he just want to feel like he still got it sometimes.
Right. Right. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I feel like,
But you got to think about it. And it's not just with men. I remember when Aisha Curry she posted a picture, said something about, she made a comment, and a lot of people was like, she a married woman, why would she even be concerned about that? Where she made something about she would like to be hit on or whatever. And she said, just so she can feel like she still got it. Like, why would you, as a married woman, be concerned? You got Steph. How can you this?
Insecure.
Insecurity. It's like, but the reality was, whatever that was within herself, she wanted to feel like whatever that is. And I would love to unpack that, because I love it when people can be vulnerable enough and transparent enough to talk about that. Because I don't see anything wrong with that if you are open and honest about it. For instance, if you're married and you say, listen, I'll be honest with you, baby, I was at the post office today. The little shawty came up there and she would look like, she had to be about 32. You know, I'm 58 and she's looking at me. She smiled at me. And you like, did you get a phone number? Nah, I get a phone number, but kind of felt good that she was looking at me like that. Like, and you gotta laugh about it and do whatever it is.
She definitely tell me when some guys try to holler at her.
And he be like, they can't help. They like what they see.
As a man, we like that. We like the fact that somebody want what we got.
But I be like, and I tell my sons that, because they got beautiful women too, and it's like, look, like you can't be mad just because this guy's like
looking at your woman.
Like, she's pretty.
If he wasn't looking at her, then you be like, you be looking at your woman like, don't nobody want you but me.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, that's where you're secure enough within yourself and your relationship to be like, yeah, I want, because I'm telling you, I don't want nobody that ain't nobody looking at. You know what I'm saying? You know, and people be lying, talking about, I don't care what nobody else think about you as long as I like you and as long as I love you. Yes, in the core of it, but in the same sense, you don't want somebody that don't nobody want but
because men are visual. Men are very visual.
I'm super
but the
visual.
thing is, Doug is
super visual.
Doug, I cannot with him today. I cannot.
He's got eyes.
I know, but I think knowing that, and Doug and I have like serious conversations. Like he has conversations with me like he would have with his guys sometimes. Good. So because I know I know he's visual. So you know what I'm saying? So I feel like sometimes women just let themselves go. And not that you should keep it all intact because you're doing it for someone else, but you should do it for yourself. And because men are visual. So keep it all the way together. You know?
It's crazy, man, because like a lot of guys have been with their wife. We've been together 28, married 24, but like they over it. They over it. Some of them wives let themselves go, some of them didn't, but they just over. But I promise you, when my wife get out the shower, I'm sorry. I'm still like,
I cannot
like
believe
we just met. Like, like I'm still in love with my wife in all aspects. She's still beautiful. It seems like she aging backwards.
Good.
Thank you.
But think about this. He just said something about how much weight did you lose?
Me?
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't know. I went from 44 to
probably about 30-something.
30, 40 pounds.
And I lost 40 pounds in a year.
Yeah.
So when y'all got together, were y'all both at y'all's heaviest?
No, I was small.
She was super small. And then I was taking her through it. So not to be funny, but I was taking her through it. So she would stop eating.
Yeah,
she would stop eating, and I'd be like,
get even smaller.
Yeah, like I was doing too much and she just wouldn't eat. And it's like, babe, like you look like a toothpick. Let me stop.
Let me stop taking
my
you through
goodness.
Let me stop taking you through it.
But at my heaviest, when I look back, it's almost like, so our youngest together, he's 22.
Yeah.
So I promise you, I felt like I was holding on to baby weight and trauma and stress, and it was in the form of my body for like so many years that when I finally spiritually got myself together, physically, mentally, is when the weight started falling off. And I look back at pictures now, and it really makes me feel like, oh my God.
We look at both ourselves like we was eating donuts all day.
Right.
Like,
but I'm so critical of myself. I'm like, ain't no telling what he was thinking about when he looked at me, though.
I just thought you was just, you know how you got some women that's like thick and beautiful. You was thick and beautiful. You was my thick and beautiful baby, just like you are now. You just ain't as thick. But
but I want to know this, when he was at his heaviest, because women seem to have more grace with the appearance of
Absolutely.
men. When he was at his heaviest, was he still attractive to you?
He was.
So did it vacillate? Did you say, so did the attraction lessen based upon the emotional connection? When things started going going wrong in y'all's relationship where he start appearing less attractive?
It was the emotional part for me. It was never physical. It was the emotional part, because you start feeling like, man, like, how many times am I going to keep going through this? And you start getting this disconnect. And I would tell him, when women are finished, we're finished. And I don't want to get to that place with you.
And I didn't want her to get to that place.
So it was real conversations. Like, I don't want to get to that place with you.
What year was that?
That was a couple of years ago. Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to get to that.
And so he saw some divorce papers.
Oh, he saw that card.
Hey, I didn't need to see the paperwork. Just
he saw
you know how somebody come up and they go like that? She was like, and I was like.
And he's
like,
you
don't want no problem. You don't want no problem.
He's like, oh, you serious?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
I can't
real
see
serious.
her without. I can't see myself without her though, because it's funny. I talk to people sometime, and I'm like, she's like family. Like, that's my wife, but more than anything, she my family. And she gets so mad because I always call her my girl, but it's really something that's really what do I say it is?
Like terms of
Words
endearment.
like that's my girl. You know what I'm saying? And she hates it, but she's my girl. That's my family. We've been together so long and through so much.
And so when you left and went to your sister's house, that was the only time that you left the house?
Well, I think it was another time I stayed at someone else's house overnight before.
Who?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think one time that was like years back, and I think he was blowing my phone up, and I was that was probably because it's been trinkles here and there that he didn't remember.
Mm-hmm.
So the last time was when you went to your sister's house and he went through the gate.
Yeah, I think that was the last time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you do differently? What did you say? Had y'all not been in counseling at that point?
We had been, like, I would say this, but like we always had counselors that I thought was not the best counselors. So this last time when we found the person we went now, I was like, let me go find something. And it's crazy. We went live with her like maybe a year or so ago, and it was crazy because it was
on her podcast.
Yeah, it was crazy because a lot of people was calling me, like friends and family that was watching. They was calling me like, we need their number.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So it's like we broke something open when we did that.
Yeah.
And then even when we did our book release party, she was there. We pointed her out, and she called us the next day. She was like, people was coming up to me like through the event.
Right.
And got booked and busy.
Right. So I'm glad that we was able to open that up, man, because we really trying to change the culture in terms of finances and relationship.
Right.
Good.
You know?
So tell me, as we begin to wrap up, what did counseling do for y'all's marriage?
Counseling, hey guys, listen up. Counseling did so much for me as a man, because a lot of times a lot of women just hear what they hear and they can't hear you. And sometimes it take that counselor to tell them, well, no, that's not right. You got to listen to this and this and that. So now I threaten her with like, we gonna go talk to her because
he gonna tell on me.
Yeah, like
literally
that's he's doing him, call his mama.
Exactly.
I'll be like, hey, set up an appointment for both of us.
I thought he wanted me to set up an appointment just for him. He's like, no, we going because I need to talk to her about. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. So it works, guys. Like when y'all come together and pick the person, but I've picked a person that we're gonna be with for the rest of our lives, and whether we doing good or bad, we going to see her.
Good.
Right.
I'm gonna ask her the same thing, but you see what leadership looks like? That's what I mean by you decided to go get the counselor.
Right.
And you decide to get it work. That's why I said if a woman is already starting off proposing to you, she's setting the tone of your marriage.
Right.
And so that's another example. You said
I'm officially changing, guys. He changed my mind. So whatever I said before now, I take it back. He changed me. Okay. I see it.
Atiya, so what were you about to say? What did counseling do for you?
For me, counseling gave him accountability. And honestly, for me, it made me feel at rest like, okay, he probably really has changed, because he's so in tune to her and she gave us so many tools that we can work with now, So for me, I feel like we're on the right path.
Yeah.
This is moving forward. We have the tools. We have, like he's always talking about, boundaries. We're talking about transparency, and it's ongoing. I think she talks about, she's African American, and she says sometimes for people like us, we only want to go like when things are broke, when something's wrong. He said she was like, the problem is it kind of needs to be ongoing. Like you need tune-ups, So that's what it is for us, because you do need a tune-up every now and then.
Yeah, she be needing that tune-up.
I cannot
Tune
with
her
him.
up.
when she get out the shower.
Definitely. Since you said it. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Shoot, I've been working out and walking.
I've been walking. You said what diet was you doing before? What diet were you doing?
What diet?
Yeah.
Oh, it was the Dr. Atkins diet.
Yeah, the Atkins diet.
Yeah.
Atkins. What's so great about it, what I see from y'all that I witness is that y'all are friends.
Right.
And sometimes that is lost in a marriage.
Right.
And sometimes it was never there to begin with.
Right.
You know, it was so much romance that they forgot about the friendship.
Right.
And so what I always say that what is more thriving, what's lasting is friendship. Even though my ex-wife and I didn't make it, we still have maintained a great friendship.
That's great.
We don't talk every day. We only talk once a month. Probably talk a couple days a year. But the reality is that if we talk, it ain't no what you want. It's like, hey, it goes blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Because we started off in friendship.
Right.
One of the things that I also admire about y'all is that y'all are helping to create the legacy of wealth building.
Right.
Share with the people this course that y'all have.
Okay, so basically what we have is right now we are pushing the book. It's called Bricks and Blondie, which is us. So we pushing Bricks and Blondie, you know,
The blueprint for real estate and relationships.
Okay, so that's what we're pushing with that. But prior to that, we had a book called The Art of Flipping Bricks. Now, that really sits you down and teaches you how to gain this wealth. I mean, like we broke it all the way down in layman's term because I think I'm the guy who can really, like, a lot of us, a lot of underserved, a lot of those type of people can look at me and relate versus me being Grant Cardone or somebody like that. You know, so I believe they look at me, they like, oh, you know, I know his story. He used to do this. He came through this and that. So, you know, that's a blessing for me to be able to do that. But the course is basically teaching people how to flip real estate.
Right.
And then with the new book that we just dropped, that's relationships and real estate.
Because if you don't have that foundation, like we talked about friendship, and if you're married and you're trying to do business together and your marriage is rocky, how are you going to work together and build that legacy?
So we actually put it together in the book. So like we talk about how it's very important to do everything perfect for your foundation when you're building the house. Right. Well, it's also important, you know, in your relationship too. Either way it go, if you don't build them correctly, it's going to crumble. And also even with the roof, you don't build the roof and it's nice and tight, weather is going to come in, all the elements, that's where the haters
people
come
in your business,
and the naysayers and all this stuff come in. So we really put a great package together. But like we're definitely trying to teach people how to flip houses so they can leave a legacy for their family. One of my biggest feats ever is that I will be able to leave a legacy. Like my grandkids will be able to go look us up like, oh, this is what they was pushing, this is what they was promoting. Like that's big for me.
Yeah, me too. So how can people be connected to y'all?
I'm going to say it first.
Go ahead.
The book, you can definitely get that on Barnes & Nobles. You can actually get that at Amazon Books A Million.
Right.
The other book that we have called The Art of Flipping Bricks, that's actually at Walmart and everywhere else you can buy a book. That was a big feat for me where I come from to be in a Walmart. That's bananas. You know what I'm saying? But God blessed me to be able, he put me with the right people. We have a great team all across the board. You know, I don't say their names a lot because I want to keep them to myself, but I have a great team and we just love to be able to show us how to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm pushing right now is helping the culture.
But you have a website that they can, I mean, it has all this connected to?
The website is under construction right now, but our Instagrams where they can find out everything that we're doing. I am IG Real Estate with Blondie. That's Real Estate with Blondie on Instagram. Same thing on TikTok. Yep, that's
and
where
y'all
you can find
reach me at I Am Real Estate 1 on Instagram. I Am Real Estate 1 on TikTok. Douglas Parson on Facebook. Douglas Parson, and don't forget to check us out because we definitely are hilarious on Bricks and Blondie 95 on YouTube. So go to the YouTube page, subscribe, and that's about it. Go pick up the book.
So you always have your hair blonde?
I do. I've been blonde for about 15 years now.
15 years. Yeah. So when we out all the time, they ask about it. How do you keep it so healthy? How do you do that? So I said she needs to come up with her new product that's real healthy to do blonde hair.
There's a trick to it?
It is a trick to it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
You'll make your money and go do that.
Okay, make that money.
Let me say this before we go, man. Ahead. I appreciate you having us.
Yes.
This is like, I don't know, like winning an Emmy or a Grammy or something like that to be here, man.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate you letting letting us come on your
Well,
platform.
tell me, what do you see the value in the Dear Future Wifey podcast?
I feel like because you have people like us on here keeping it real, so more than anything,
transparent.
Yes.
more than anything,
And you ask real questions because I told Doug after our the screening that we did, I said that felt, and I wasn't nervous or anything. It felt good. I said, but I feel like this was the first time someone really asked us deep questions. Because people ask like surface questions. I want to go deep. That's what it's about, helping someone else.
Doug does too. Look at him.
he knows how to move. And he know how to move too. He gonna get you kind of relaxed first and ask you these little questions, and then it's just like bam.
Right.
What's the worst thing ever happened in y'all relationship? And you be like, dang,
And
we was
when?
just
And
cool.
what happened next?
I thought we was like, dang, that was crazy last time. I was like, boy, he loosened us up, and then he went in for the kill. He goes in for the kill.
Right.
Man, listen, I love y'all because y'all just real, and I like when I just talk to, like when I do interviews, it's not really interviews. I just want to talk. That's why I don't have no notes.
Right.
I feel like I'm just talking to some friends.
Right.
And that's the reason why I choose the people very carefully who sit on that yellow couch.
Right.
Because if it's a struggle, I ain't gonna be able to do it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be able to say, okay, now these people was the most boring people I met. I remember they said this and they said that.
Right.
After I asked these 3 questions, I don't know where else to go.
Right.
I gotta be able to just chop it up with you like some friends talking, and then see Rihanna stand up, letting me know it's an hour that passed, and then I keep going past the hour because I'm enjoying talking to y'all like I just did just now. Well, listen, y'all give it up for my homies, the Parsons.
Thank you.
Make sure y'all go support them on all
Appreciate
their platforms. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much.
Stay tuned to the end for a letter to my future wifey.
Been writing these love letters to you.
Ladarian, thrusted suddenly into Child Protective Services in 2015. My nephew, black, a boy. The likelihood of being adopted outside of kinship, slim to none. Armani, 16 years old, black, a boy, with 5 years in the foster care system before I even knew his name. The likelihood of ever being adopted, yep, you guessed it, slim to none. While Ladarian and Armani were trying to survive and barely thrive in an overpopulated and underfunded foster care system, I was living my own life, doing well professionally. Having been a single father with a daughter who at that point was doing well in college, it was my time to live my life, right? Wrong. I felt unsettled, tireless, agitated. There are just too many of our black children stuck in ambiguity and in the limbo of the foster care system. In 2017, I legally adopted my nephew, Ladarian. Fast forward to 2019, I had no ties to this other young king, but I felt God instructed me to adopt him also, and I obeyed. Starting over with parenting should have been enough, right? Working with various foster care and adoption agencies to help bring awareness to the countless young black kings in the foster care system should have decreased my agitation, right? Joining the board of directors of Advantage Adoption, an organization that helps find permanent adoptive homes for children in foster care, should have led to some type of resolve, right? No, not at all. None of it felt like I had done enough. I now realize that every one of those experiences was laying the fundamental foundation for my life's mission, Kingdom Royale. Kingdom Royale will be a luxury, state-of-the-art home for foster boys. Our first location will be in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We will utilize the whole person approach that instills identity, empowers them to advocate for themselves, and enlightens them regarding new perspectives and limitless options that they thought were impossible. Though the young kings will attend the local public schools that are in proximity to Kingdom Royale, our at-home curriculum will broaden their worldview through participating in the arts, attending various cultural events, learning about and engaging in multifaceted discussions about current events and even relevant historical context, introducing them to gardening and landscaping and even caring for our animals on our farm and on-site stables. We just launched our Startup Capital campaign with the goal of raising $2.8 million. Now, why $2.8 million? Well, in 2017, I created a web series in which I performed random acts of kindness for targeting the homeless community. One of the most notable successes was that one of the videos went viral, garnering 28 million views. However, One of my biggest regrets is that I didn't raise a single dollar to help in implementing a more sustainable plan for the homeless community. So throughout the years, with much remorse, I reflected on not maximizing that moment. I knew if at that time, just 10% of the viewers donated $1, we would have raised at least $2.8 million that could have really established long-term support for the homeless community, or at least started a long-term initiative to do so. This is my do-over. This is our new beginning. Together, we can attack this at the root by specifically helping our homeless Black boys who are already disproportionately represented in the American foster care system. I'm Atiya Whitfield. I've been nominated for 3 regional Emmys documenting my work with the homeless as well as my personal adoption journey. Despite those accolades, the greatest award for me is truly providing the infrastructure for a transformed life. Visit kingdomroyale.com for more details. Crown a king and make a donation today. Can I tell y'all how much I enjoyed that conversation with the Parsons? I mean, I really, really, really enjoyed that. I love the friendship. I love the transparency. I just love it all. Well, here's my favorite part of the podcast where I speak to my future wifey. Dear Future Wifey, amidst the joy that the future holds, I believe it is crucial for us to discuss a topic that is fundamental to the success of our relationship: the establishment and respect of boundaries. In embarking on this journey together, let us recognize the importance of individuality within the union we are creating. We are 2 unique souls, each with our own dreams, aspirations, and personal space. It is my earnest desire that we approach the matter of boundaries with openness, understanding, and a commitment to nurturing the flourishing of both our individual selves and our shared life. Let us pledge to discuss our needs, desires, and limits openly and honestly. In doing so, we can build a foundation of trust and mutual respect that will sustain our relationship through the various seasons of life. Boundaries are not walls, but rather the fences that protect the sacred garden of our relationship. They are the expressions of our self-respect and acknowledgement of each other's autonomy. Your future hubby. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Remember, be lit, live intentionally and transparently, and don't stop loving. Make sure to subscribe to our Dear Future Wifey YouTube channel. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. We welcome your support. Simply share our podcast with your friends and family.